the next game that we're gonna get into is the Eagles versus the Jet. I mean, the Eagles versus the Giants. They're visiting MetLife, and they're the -7 favorite, which is interesting. I would think that the spread would be a little bit more, considering that the Giants just tied with the Commanders, and I believe the Eagles are a much better team than the Commanders, although they lost to them. Um, but the way I see this really playing out is kind of being like one of those run heavy kind of games. I don't know, maybe Jalen Hurts is going to be able to get it going passing, but I think this may be a close one. And I think maybe the Giants give the Eagles a loss. It would be nice to see Daniel Jones kind of have a pretty good game. And the Eagles, again, they're just a team that I don't believe in too much. So I think they're due for a loss. And then on top of that, it's like just being an underdog at home. We seen how this played out throughout the season with a lot of team. I mean, even with the Giants. The Giants have been underdogs in most of their games, and they've been able to come out with wins. So
Yeah, yeah. Look, -7 spread in a tough divisional game with this NFC East. It's literally anybody's ball game anytime any of these four teams play each other. Um, yeah, I mean, like you said, probably be a close game knowing how things go. The problem with the Eagles, or the problem that the Eagles pose for the Giants, is that the Eagles have an ability to really pull away and put the game out of reach, where the Giants don't have that card. So that's the one thing that can kind of you know completely change the game. Jalen Hurts could just start airing it out to AJ Brown and go up 3 touchdowns, and it's kind of game over.
out of reach, yeah.
Yeah. So the Eagles do have that variable to their team, but otherwise, I would expect this to be a pretty close game, and like you said, one that the Giants can win. You know, Daniel Jones and his ability to run the football paired with Saquon is a lot to handle. That being said, the Eagles' defense is pretty solid. But look, we've seen in other football games, it's only a few plays. They could break off a few long runs, and that could be the difference right there. So 7 point spread. That's probably about right in terms of where Vegas would place this spread. Although I could easily see it being a -9 spread. I wouldn't be surprised if Vegas placed it that way either. But yeah, -7 seems about right. I'd say I'd lean towards the Giants covering it, but I wouldn't
Be
put money
surprised.
or put a large amount of money on this. If you want to sprinkle a little bit on it, fine. But yeah, covering that 7 point spread when the Eagles could just come out and air it out against the Giants, put it out of reach is a bit tough.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens with that game, and we'll be on the lookout for that next week. So